Greetings, I'm Tim of Govberg, and welcome to the world of Jaeger-LeCoultre. Today, I'll be your guide to the proper usage, care, and maintenance of the Master Compressor Chronograph ceramic, 46mm in black ceramic. Now, this is an automatic winding timepiece that can nevertheless be manually wound should it run down by taking the crown, turning it 1/2 turn such that the blue arrows are visible, and now in the first position with the crown flush to the case, turning it 20 to 30 times until you see the advance of the seconds hand at 6 o'clock. This is the seconds hand that advances regardless of whether or not the chronograph is running. Now at this point you can simply take the crown, lock it with a counterclockwise turn, and wear the watch. The natural course of kinetic action on the wrist in conjunction with the automatic winding rotor will ensure that the watch remains operating in daily use. But should you wish to completely wind the watch to its rated maximum power reserve of 65 hours, simply open the compressor crown so that both blue arrows are visible and continue turning. An additional 40 turns should be sufficient to completely wind both mainspring barrels. Please note that you cannot accidentally overwind this automatic winding timepiece, as the bridle style mainspring will slip and relieve any excess tension. Once the watch is wound and the balance is beating and the seconds hand is advancing, now there are some specialized functions that allow precise setting of the primary and reference time zones. Now, one position out from flush to the case is where the second time zone is advanced by turning the crown in a clockwise direction. Now you'll note as the reference trapeze hand advances, the AM/PM day-night indicator below the corporate logo at 12 o'clock maintains a distinction between, for instance, 4 AM and 4 PM. Now when turned in the opposite direction, the crown in the second position becomes a quick set to rapidly cycle the date. The date is keyed to the local hour hand at center. That is, the date is driven by the blue hour hand, not the silver one. It's important to note that the quick set function for the date should never be engaged between the hours of 8 p.m. and 3:30 a.m., as this is the period during which the watch's automatic date jumper is engaged, and attempting to use the manual quick set when the automatic jumper is engaged can severely damage the movement. Now, in the outermost position, one position out from setting the GMT and the date, all of the functions of the watch are advanced in sync. Now you'll note the local hour hand is superimposed over the reference hour hand. You can clean up the look of the watch when you don't need an indication of a second time zone. You'll also note, as the watch advances, the seconds hand at 6 o'clock ceases to advance. This is known as hacking or stop seconds. Now, it can be used to precisely synchronize the watch to a known accurate reference time, such as an atomic clock, by waiting for that seconds hand at 6 o'clock to align with the index at 60, and then advancing the minute hand to the next nearest minute. Wait for the reference time to catch up, and then push the crown back to its position flush. The seconds hand continues to advance. Now the watch has been synchronized to a reference time. With respect to the chronograph, its sequence is always thus: start with the pusher at 2 o'clock, stop with the pusher at 2 o'clock, and reset with the position at 4 o'clock. It's important to note that this watch uses what's known as a vertical clutch coupling for its chronograph. So if you prefer to run the chronograph continuously to have center seconds corresponding to minutes and hours rather than reading the subdial, you can simply leave the chronograph running. However, it will drain the power reserve faster than if the chronograph is stationary. Never attempt to reset the chronograph while the seconds hand is still advancing, as this out-of-sequence operation can severely damage a chronograph caliber. With respect to hazards, there are several hazards that your watch faces, including water, shock, and magnetism. Now, the compressor crown system invented by Jaeger-LeCoultre allows easy access to the setting functions of the crown, and when turned 1/2 turn to show the white arrow, it locks the crown such that the watertight resistance of this watch attains 10 bar or 100 meters. However, there are certain caveats. For instance, The crown must be locked with the white arrow showing, and all functions of crown and chronograph pushers must remain disused during water exposure, as attempting to use any of them while there's water on the case or the watch is submerged can bypass the seals and introduce water to the interior of the movement and the dial, causing cosmetic and mechanical damage. Also important to note is that this watch features a leather strap underside, and leather, a porous natural material, is never water resistant. Therefore, the watch should be placed on a textile or rubber strap before exposure to water. Now, 10 bar or 100 meters is sufficient for almost all waterborne activities short of professional diving. However, water resistance is not a static feature of a timepiece, and as seals age and lubricants dry, water resistance will degrade, so the manufacturer recommends water testing with an authorized agent minimally once every 24 months. Now, shock is also a significant consideration. It's important to note that this case, made of ceramic, is virtually scratch-proof, effectively as hard as sapphire in daily use. However, extreme blunt force blows to the case may fracture the ceramic, just as a sapphire crystal can be cracked or fractured, so treat the watch with care and avoid harsh blows to the case. Moreover, harsh blows and severe vibrations can damage a fine Swiss mechanical movement, and it's important to keep the watch disused during tennis, golf, firearms marksmanship, mountain biking, and dirt biking. Magnetism is ubiquitous in daily life. High-powered wiring looms in the home or office, speakers, subwoofers, refrigerator doors, and even the closures of wallets and purses carry strong magnetic fields that can change the timing of your watch by magnetizing its hairspring. If you suspect your watch has become magnetized, take a conventional magnetic compass in proximity to the case and move it slowly around the watch. If the needle continues to point at the watch may have become magnetized. It can be demagnetized quickly and easily with an authorized service agent of Jaeger-LeCoultre. Finally, with respect to comprehensive mechanical service, the best time to have the watch assessed is when it's brought in for a water test. Also have the chronometric performance of the watch and its cosmetic condition evaluated. Should the watch require a comprehensive overhaul, service exclusively with an authorized service center of Jaeger-LeCoultre, as this agency exclusively will have access to the trained personnel, original factory replacement parts, and, of course, specialized equipment necessary to properly service this timepiece, and only these agencies are able to back parts and work invested with an original factory service warranty. To learn more about the proper care, usage, and maintenance of this or any Jaeger-LeCoultre watch, visit our website, govbergwatches.com, and call, text, or email our experts who will be happy to walk you through every phase of the ownership experience.